and it feels bad. It's just the way it goes. It's just the rules of the league, and it's just how it has to happen.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see how that pans out towards the future, because now Mirage, no longer undefeated, 6-3. They are going to have to earn more wins now in the future to continue their playoff spot.
But we're going to be seeing an undefeated team going against Ink Kings right now.
That is true.
Oh.
We are one player away from being ready, so let's look at the teams here and see their stats from week 1 and 2. We have Bittersweet, of course. Again, we already talked about them a little bit today. 6-0, average spread of 57.2 plus. That is a big, giant spread. Meanwhile, Ink Kings 3-3 with an average spread of 6.3.
Jeez.
So much tighter games, even though they are a 3-3 team. Salty, I think it's obvious when we say we favor Bittersweet in this matchup, but how much of a shot, how much of a percent, I want a number, do you think Ink Kings has to pull off either a 2-1 or 3-0 victory today?
Well, to be honest, I kind of see, based off how I see Ink Kings, I kind of see it the same way as Persistence versus High Voltage, so probably less than 10%. I'm going around 5.
Woo! 5%, Zach? Do you
Jeez,
agree?
guys.
Higher or lower?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I could see one win being pulled out from Ink Kings today, but honestly, I think even that one win from Ink Kings could be like awful for Bittersweets, because that would put them at the 11-1 instead of the 12-0. Okay, I think that's the most devastating thing we could see happen today. That's my guess.
Right. Well, both teams, interestingly enough to me, are bloody teams. Both have 26 kills a game, around roughly. The other thing, though, is interesting. Bittersweet, much cleaner with their kills. 17 deaths a game. Meanwhile, Ink Kings, 36 deaths a game.
Jeez, guys, calm down.
They are not afraid of dying.
Right.
I think that is the crazy thing to me is, wow, they get their kills, but they also get a lot of deaths. And I think a lot of that was from the first week when they went 0-3.
Sure.
So week 2, a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. The other thing I'm seeing as well is Bittersweet, their best mode, Rainmaker, 100% KO, plus 100 wins. We have a Rainmaker coming up, and Ink King's worst mode so far is a Rainmaker loss at -17.
Right,
So,
right.
I'm interested to see, does that hurt them in Game 3? But obviously in Game 1 and 2, they're playing Tower Control, they're playing Clan Blitz, and both teams are, having decent success on those modes so far. So I'm interested to see what happens. We have another pause break for Ink Kings. I will give them a couple more minutes because of the forfeit earlier. Did make their matchup schedule. It should have been a little bit later, so I'll give them a couple more minutes to get their 4th person in here. But we're waiting on them. Zach, Bittersweet, 9-0.
Right.
They're feeling pretty good.
Right.
Now that they've had this easy 3-0 victory over Mirage,
Yes.
do you just automatically put them at the top of the league saying they're going to earn the number 1 spot over the season?
Here's what I feel bad for Bittersweet for. I think it's hard because I think they believed in themselves for that last round, that they could have got that 3-0 victory. But you have something that's extremely hard of, yes, Bittersweet, like Salty was saying in the chat, Bittersweet is pretty much locked in to that top 4 with that 9-0 victory that they have, no matter really what happens here. But I think there's something that Bittersweet is going to hold on to in those finals of, man, did we earn this spot? Do we deserve to be up here today? And that's really hard. That's really hard no matter how good your team is. I think that there's something of a disadvantage of doubting in yourself when you get to that spot.
Gotcha. Well, I'm getting an update from Ink Kings. They have their player on the way. Apparently their mom had an allergic reaction and
Needed the pen!
They needed the EpiPen. So that is a pretty legit excuse. Whew.
Guys!
That is a little scary. She is fine, though, so thank you guys for the update.
My condolences for the mother. That sounds very, very scary.
Wow. As we were joking earlier that nothing else matters between but Splatoon and esports. That was obviously a joke.
Yeah.
So, you know, glad that she is okay. Thank you guys for the update. And I'm sorry that that happened to her. Hopefully it sounds like she's okay. That is a scary thing.
It's terrifying.
To have that big of an allergic reaction.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Wow.
Ugh. Man, yeah. We'll wait a couple of minutes here. Just waiting for everything to come back into place. And
I think
it's good.
what
it's
this stream is about is just Zach and Luke time. And
Yeah!
That's what the
Thank
fans
you.
want, right?
Thank you. That's why we stream, because you like us. Okay.
All right. It looks like they are in the game now, so we can get things underway finally. And they are very sorry. It's okay. That emergency of a medical emergency are always serious. Don't sweat it too much there. And finally, we get some Splatoon action, so I'm excited because even though I want it to be the Zach and Luke show, I really don't want it to be the Zach and Luke show.
Rude. Yeah, Game Gone Bittersweet is winning. That's the answer. Everyone is winning. Okay, my bad.
All right, so we have teams selecting their weapons. We have a 4v4 underway. So I want to hear in the chat, who are you guys rooting for? I've seen a lot of BS in the chat. No, not that kind of BS.
A lot of BS.
A vote for Bittersweet. So make sure you go to Twitter and also put in the chat what team you're rooting for. I think Ink King's here being rooting on as well. So I'm interested to see what happens. We are just moments away. But fans need to shout it out, their love for the teams. That's how the teams get motivated.
Yeah.
And one day we'll be in a giant arena broadcasting Splatoon on the big screen, and we'll have the fans just there shouting, ah.
The only reason that's not happening right now is because of COVID. That's the only reason we don't have an arena.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with our fame. Okay?
It'd be cool if we could actually have channel points where they could root on a specific team and it would come up with an audio cheer for them.
Guys. Finals
All right,
next season at TwitchCon.
Maybe in finals, yeah. All right, teams are ready to go. I'm ready for some action. Gray Silver Blood, thank you for the follow. Let's get into the games. Finally, we are ready for some more Splatoon action. Sorry for all the wait. So let's get going between Ink Kings, Bittersweet, game number 1. Sorry about that. It's not Mirage anymore. No channel points for Indian Machine. No, thank you. We have Ink Kings in the green, and we have purple for the Bittersweet team. Salty, what are you seeing here on the map as far as builds and weapons? Anything surprising you, or anything you'd like to call out?
I love the typing on the Twitch. That's going to be a fun thing to watch. Other than that, Kunders are really interesting. You don't see those that too many. I don't see that many Kunders these days, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out in the comp.
Pepe already introduced, but Bittersweet are going down. Ink Kings seem to be fighting. This is a much closer matchup than it was last game. I'm also seeing that Eli's coming out here with the splatter shot instead of, while last week he was using blasters and stuff like that. Interesting change up the game.
Yeah. We're seeing a game, guys. That's kind of cool. Haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. Driftwood also here on the Sniper Zach. You think that's a good move here?
I don't know. I think on this map it can be extremely helpful. There's a lot of places, little nooks and crannies that you can hide out, and really hard to spot where that's coming from. Purple's on the tower, and we're going to see if they're able to get a lead here.
Yes. Salty, what do you think, what kind of number of push is going to win on tower controls in your team? Is one checkpoint enough, or do they need 2 or 3?
Power control snapper? Honestly, I mean, it's really easy to snowball once you get that second checkpoint, so I guess no more than that first one, so maybe no more than 2. That should be enough to really take it in.
Yeah, well, Bittersweet getting that first checkpoint, that can be a pretty good lead for them. However, Ink Kings are going to make the stop, so it's not completely lopsided yet. Only 73 to 56. It feels like this is going to be a close match we've been waiting for.
Baby. Okay, but they're grabbing that checkpoint too. Remember, checkpoint 1 has not been passed here.
Ink Kings with a wipe.
man.
4 go down. Maybe it's not going to be that close. So we'll get some close at first. They are in some danger of being KO'd right here if they do not get some plays going. Okay, getting stomped there by Hunter. Hunter with the double, with the triple. No, he gets taken down, but Pepe right there to back him up. The tower is still going. Drifting Pepe's on there, and it looks like a victory for Bittersweet as we were predicting there.
My word.
Getting the first win. Looking like a close match at first, a little bit back and forth, but Ink Kings with a couple of wipes there at the end. It looks like they may have been able to bring this game close, but eventually Pepe and Hunter took over 11 and 6 splats right there, getting the job done. Salty, who else? What was the key moment you want to say for Bittersweet? Getting that KO right there all of a sudden.
Honestly, just the end of the match in general. Like, once again, like on Snapper, you get the tower, you pass through that first point. It's really easy to just snowball into a win from there or a knockout.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting that Ink Kings took that lead first. They took control first. It seemed like they were able to kill them pretty easily, and then Bittersweet all of a sudden, Pepe on that Kensa Splattershot Jr. The man is a legend. I mean, literally people in the chat are asking before the game, can you pull out this weapon because we want to see you use it to slay some people? And he really just did 11 right there, popping off already.
Baby. My guy.
So we'll see. What do you think Ink Kings can do here in this Clan Blitz match to kind of turn this around perhaps and get a victory for themselves? Anything, Zach or Salty? Any ideas to pass off their wisdom to them?
Just definitely play a bit more coordinated. That map, like, is kind of understandable that they lost there. Like, once again, once the train starts running, like, it's kind of hard to stop it.
Yeah.
But on Clan Blitz, just kind of play map control, play towards map control. Don't try to go for trades and whatnot because map control is more important, and having numbers is way more important in Clan Blitz.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if
and just formulating good, and just having good pushes in general should allow them to at least put up a fight against, like, what will probably be like first seed if they win this game.
Yeah, I think one of the things for Ink Kings is having that coordination. As we said earlier, they do have a couple subs in here today, so it's a little bit harder to be coordinated as a team when you do have subs in, but we'll see if they're able to pull it off. We are ready for game number 2, and even Splat Borat is here to cheer us on.
Yeah,
so thank you guys. Let's jump into game number 2. Alright, this time around we have Ink Kings coming out here. Looks like in the turquoise, if I'm not mistaken. And in the magenta is going to be that Bittersweet. So we'll see what happens here. I'm seeing already the Hydra Splatling. Is that a good choice here, Salty, for Albacore Hotel? What do you think?
It does have a lot of places where it can just kind of shoot down and snipe. It's also really helpful that Ink Kings opted to not run the backline that outranges the Hydra, because, you know, any backline that outranges the Hydra kind of makes it effectively useless outside of armor strand. So I think the pick for this certain situation isn't a bad one, for sure.
Woo! Couple kills there already for Bittersweet. Back and forth though. Again, we're seeing these teams pretty evenly matched up. It looks like Bittersweet has the advantage. They already have 2 super claims. Can they get the job done and score though? That is always the big question on playing hats.
We're seeing a lot of footballs up for Bittersweet right now. Wouldn't be surprised if they're able to get both those in with enough coordination, but we see one down from Bittersweet. I don't think it's going to affect them too harshly.
Yeah, just a pick off on one, meaning they're going to be able to pick up their super claims, so the push is definitely not over, and Ink Kings are in a lot of danger. Almost 30 clams on the map for Bittersweet, and the bubbles from Pepe coming out, trying to get those kills, trying to get the pop. Can he get the job done? Super clams are everywhere, and I'm clicking on the wrong base. They do get 2 in, but it looks like Ink Kings from that point on are going to get the stop, unless Pepe can 3v1 right now.
Oh my gosh, does he? He does! He gets another football in! What in the world? 40 points remain, just 3 minutes, 30 seconds, and beautiful kills back and forth! Oh my word.
Pepe for president right here. He is popping off, trying to get even more points. And all of a sudden, what was only a 2 super clan push, Pepe extends that now into a lead of 37 to 100. That is crazy.
In their first opening of the base. And there it is again, another opening. There's an 11-point penalty they got to work through, and it looks like they get through that penalty, and we might see a KO here.
Yeah, they're throwing more and more, using their special. Pepe has the last couple clans, and that is going to be the game right there. Wow, I cannot believe this. Bittersweet with just some amazing plays out there for themselves, getting it done in a 100-point KO for their team. Wowzers. Again,
Pepe is too strong.
Pepe is too strong. Maybe that is the key. Although Hunter getting more splats there on the day. 6 for him. And Pepe only a couple splats, but it seemed like he got the splats that counted.
Yeah. Yes.
So it seemed like Bittersweet knew what to do. They knew how to get their clams ready, and they knew how to get their specials going to use those clams to score.
Yep.
So I was impressed there. Salty, what did you think about Bittersweet's performance right there?
The first push was really great, and then Pepe just kind of said, "But we're not done here yet." And 2 double kills in like a 2v1 scenario, which was like really hyped to see, and he just kind of allowed for that push to extend even farther into the KO.
Yeah. I'm also interested to see Hunter's performance here. Hunter, I think, is subbing in, maybe for the first time, I can't remember, but that Dynamo, putting some good pressure down, some good paint, and 6 splats there on Clan Blitz.
Jeez.
So I'm pretty impressed with Hunter.
That was a pretty solid Dynamo. He was positioning himself really well, putting paint down where he needed to. Really solid.
All right, Zach, we're coming to you, of course. Even though this isn't Clan Blitz, as the Clan Blitz connoisseur here.
Right.
Rainmaker, what does Inkings need to do? Sturgeon Shipyard, how do they get one victory here off for Bittersweet before ending the day?
Most of the time, we're going to say coordination, right? We're going to say, of course, they need to work well together. My big Rainmaker take, right? One person can carry that victory if needed. It's going to be a very aggressive play that needs to happen. And I think what the chat is pointing out, too, we could just have a 1v4 of Pepe versus the rest, and it would still be intense for Ink Kings. I think Ink Kings need to make sure that they take down Pepe and have somebody who is comfortable with that Rainmaker taking it to get that KO.
I feel like Ink Kings need to come out of the gate swinging. They got to get a lead in the beginning just for the confidence. I think it's easy to get beat up after 2 losses and not have that confidence. I want to see them coming out of the gate swinging hard with some swag and get that first Rainmaker push. We'll see if that happens. We are ready for game number 3. Ink Kings looking for at least a victory here today against Bittersweet. We'll see if they make that happen. Coming back to Sturgeon Shipyard here too. I'm excited. I want to see more of this map all day long. Ink Kings in the turquoise. Orange is going to be Bittersweet this time around. Anything salty you want to point out as far as team comps or weapons go?
I mean, the thing that sticks out is that, especially you can see with the changes of, with Pepe's junior choice as well as also Drift dropping the Charger for a more aggressive option. They seem to be going for a more paint-heavy, or at least like Bittersweet in this case would seem to be going for a more paint-heavy comp here.
Yeah, it looks like already a wipe.
Yeah.
Wipe is out, and Bittersweet is looking for a fast KO. They want to end this remake game. They want to go home. They were excited to play Mirage today, and they are angry, playing with some passion, and already 3 wipes in a row.
He's holding on!
Pepe with the BM even. Oh my goodness. I can't believe how quick of a game that was, but man, Ink Kings unfortunately got wiped a couple times right there, and that game was barely even a contest. It was over, I think, what? Did anyone time that? 40 seconds?
Less than a minute for sure.
I think it may have been 40 seconds. It was definitely a sub 1 minute. So put in the chat if you saw what the time was. I didn't catch the time at the end of the game. But Ink Kings getting stomped there. It was a tough matchup against the best team in the league with the best record, with a couple subs.
Yeah.
The odds were stacked against them, and unfortunately, they were not able to get any upsets there.
Ugh. So we are seeing, leaving today, a 12-0 Bittersweet.
12-0 Bittersweet. That is a huge victory when you only are going to play 24 games throughout the season. They're
Yeah.
already half their wins are under their
Dude.
belt. So that is pretty amazing, and I think they still have some good teams to play. They haven't played Ray the Gamers or Persistence. But Salty, even though we didn't get to see them against Mirage today as Mirage had to forfeit, do we say Bittersweet is indeed far beyond the best team in the league, or do we have to hold off on saying that?
Well, for one, they were the first team to qualify for the playoffs, for sure. Because I think with 12 wins, that should put them at qualification.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they lose 12 in a row, it's
Yeah,
still
but,
mathematically
they
possible.
win one more game. They win one more game and they're qualified.
Pretty
That's
much,
for sure.
yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, without Mirage, I could maybe see Persistence or Nasty Majesty putting up a fight, but I think they might go undefeated.
Wow, that would be something to see. I'm not gonna say yet they're gonna be undefeated. There's still quite a bit matches to play, quite a good teams to play against. But it is a storyline that is now interesting to say, can we have a team when we're doing a play all three go undefeated, meaning they don't drop a single match? Zach, do you think it's possible?
Okay, listen. The big thing, and I know this is a crazy take. But I think the first team that could take down Bittersweet is the one that knows it best, which is regular gamers.
But they're not playing them till the end of the season.
I know,
so
but
we'll
I'm
have to wait.
thinking that's when the win happens,
All
right? Ugh, or when the loss happens.
We'll see. I think the other flip side of that is Ink Kings now jumping back after week 2. They tied it up 3-3. They're